Welcome student in the second video of 2.6. In earlier video we have discussed icebreakers activities from 2.6 Money poem by William Davies, and today we are going to study about the poet, about introduction of the poet as well as theme of the poem and poem in detail. We are going to discuss about stanzas from the poem. So let's start to study the poem Money by William Davies. Now first we are going to take information about poet William Davies. Now William Davies was born in 1871 and he died in 1940. It was his lifespan. So the name of Davies is William Henry Davies, and he was a Welsh poet and writer. Yes, he was a Welsh poet and a very famous writer. He spent a significant part of his life. Now here we have one word, significant, and significant means important. So William Davies spent important part of his life as a tramp. Now here we have tramp, this particular new word. Now tramp means a person who goes from one place to another place in search of work, and as he do that work he get money from that particular work. So he wander because he doesn't have house, and so he wander from one place to another place, that is tramp. And hobo, Hobo. Now hobo means again a migrant worker or traveling worker. Migrant worker, traveling worker, these are the synonyms for hobo. Means William Davies, he traveled in search of work, and after getting work he earned money. So in short, to earn money he traveled from one place to another place in search of work. He became a peddler and street singer in England, and so William Davies, he become a peddler. Now here we have one more word, peddler. What is mean by peddler? Peddler means a person who sell illegal drugs. Illegal drugs, अवैधरित्या ड्रग्ज विकण्याचं काम तो करत होता, as well as he sells stolen goods also. And so in his life he become a peddler and street singer in England, and he sings songs on the street in England. After several years of a wandering life, and so he spent his life as a wandering from one place to another place. And after several years of wandering life, he published his first volume, and name of title of his first volume was The Soul's Destroyer and Other Poems. It was his collection of poems. Title of his collection of poems was The Soul's Destroyer and Other Poems. See, in his early life, he wandered from one place to another place in search of work. And why he needs work? Because by doing that work, he get the money. And so, to get the money, he wandered from one place to another place. And this was at his early life. It was his life. He was leading a wandering life. And after some years, now he has written whatever experience he has at the time of wandering, and he collected that particular those poems titled as The Soul's Destroyer and Other Poems. Now in the next paragraph we have given information about the poem itself, that is the money. Here in the next paragraph we have given information about the poem. Now the poem tells us about the rich man. Poem tells us about the rich man, श्रीमंत व्यक्ति, who wants to be a poor man to find the real happiness. And here in this poem, poet tells us about a rich man, and that rich man wants to be poor once again. Now friends, it is very important. Now why it should happen in the life of that person? Already he was very rich, but poet said that that rich man wants to be poor once again. And what was reason behind his wish, behind his desire? Just he thought that when a person become poor, poor people get real happiness in their life, and just to get that real happiness, that eternal happiness, that rich person wants to be poor once again. It is when we do not have money or have lost our money, we realize how important the money is. Now we know very well how money is important in human beings life. Without money we can't do anything, and so money is very important factor in our life. And when we get the importance of money, when we lost money, when we have very less money with us, at that time we come to know the importance of money in our life. At the end, now in at the end of this particular poem, poet says that now he doesn't have money. Now poet doesn't have money with him, but very important, he has true friends, though they may be few. Now at the end of this particular poem, poet said that he doesn't have money at this particular time, but he has friends or true friends with him, though the number of true friends are very few or they are less in number, but friends are very important, true friends are very important in our life. So this is how we have information about the poet of this poem and theme of the poem. Here through this poem, poet has given us very important message that money is not important in our life, but true friends are important. And when we have less money, when people are poor, they are more happier than the rich people. That message was given by the poet in this particular poem. And now we will see the poem itself. Here in this poem we have given 5 stanzas, and these 5 stanzas are very easy and simple to understand. Now I am going to read each stanza and explanation of that particular stanza. First stanza: when I had money, money, oh, I knew no joy till I went poor. For many a false man as a friend came knocking all day at my door. Now here in the first stanza, poet said that when he had lot of money, in the past, when he had lot of money, he knew no joy till he went poor. He had lot of money with him, but though he had lot of money, he didn't know what is happiness, and he get the real meaning of happiness only when he become poor in his life. And so here in the first 2 lines of the first stanza, poet wants to say that we get real happiness only when we are very poor. So poet indirectly want to be poor once again. Here in the first stanza we have, poet has given us his desire to be poor once again, to get eternal happiness, to get real happiness. For many a false man as a friend. And when poet had lot of money with him, at that time he had number of friends around him. But those friends are false friends. They don't have to do anything with right with poet, but only because poet has lot of money, they pretend that they are true friend of the poet. And so poet said, for many a false man as a friend, and they were knocking all day at the door of the poet, and they always came to meet the poet. Why? Because they consider that they are friend of the poet. So this is how we have the first stanza. Now what poet said in the second stanza: then felt I like a child that holds a trumpet that he must not blow, because a man is dead. I dare not speak to let this false world know. Now here in the second stanza, poet compared his situation, a rich man's situation, with a child. Now how he compared that how he compared rich man with that particular child? See, then he compared himself with the child, and that child, he has a trumpet in his hand. Trumpet means a kind of musical instrument. एक ते म्युझिक म्हणजे आपण त्याला वाद्य म्हणतो, वाद्य आहे. अँड दॅट चाइल्ड ही हॅज अ म्युझिकल इन्स्ट्रुमेंट इन हिज हँड. अँड यू नो फ्रेंड्स व्हेरी वेल that whenever we give any type of musical instrument or any type of thing to the childs, then they start to play with that particular object. And here that child, as he is having trumpet, definitely he must be like to play the trumpet, but people restricted him not to play the trumpet because someone was died nearby the child. And so that child has a trumpet in his hand, but he was restricted. He was not allowed to blow the trumpet. And at this particular time, whatever the situation of the child, the same situation is having the poet. He has a lot of money with him, but he is far away from the true happiness. He was far away from the eternal happiness. Okay, so this is how poet compared the situation of the rich person with the child who is having a trumpet in his hand. And I dare not speak to let this false world know. And a poet said around him every person is false person, and that's why poet doesn't want to speak with him. Poet doesn't want to convey his feeling with those people, because all those are only with him because poet has lot of money. Next, third stanza. Much have I thought of life and seen how poor men's hearts are ever light, and how their wives do hum like bees about their work morn till night. And here in the third stanza of the poem, poet said that he has observed and learned. Poet said that he has observed and learned the aspect of the life minutely. And he has observed the poor family, and from the poor family he observed the wife of that particular poor person. Poet said, when there will be poor family, from that poor family, the wife of that poor person, she always makes comment, she always busy with managing the expenditure, because they don't have sufficient money. And wives from poor families, they always make arguments with their husbands. And but though they do not have sufficient money, but still they are very happy in their life. Next stanza. So when I hear those poor ones laugh and see the rich ones coldly frown, poor men think I need not go up so much as rich men should come down. Here poet said that when poor people laugh, there is a kind of satisfaction in his laughing. They laugh satisfactorily. So when poor people laugh, their laughing is different. When rich person laugh, they laugh, but there is a kind of sadness in their laughing. Poor people laugh without any hesitation. So this is how poets say that poor people laugh as well as rich people laugh, but poor people laugh very freely, and in comparison to poor people, rich people, they laugh hesitatingly. Poor men think I need not go up. And here poet has given us a kind of message to the poor people. Poor people don't try to be a rich person. Instead of becoming rich person, poet given message to the rich people to become poor people once again. Now why poet said like this? Because poor people survive living a simple real life. Poor people survive in a simple life and working hard. Poor people works very hard and they are leading very real life, happy life, though they do not have sufficient money with them. They are happy with necessities which they have, or they may not be expensive. Their necessities are not so much expensive, and so they are very happy in their life. They are contented, and that brings happiness in their life. And opposite to the poor people, rich person, they have lot of money, but though they have lot of money, but true happiness is not with the rich people. Last stanza. When I had money, money, oh, my many friends proved all untrue. But now I have no money, oh, my friends are real, though very few. Now in the last stanza of the poem, poet said, now he doesn't have money with him. He had not money with him, or he doesn't have money with him. And when poet has not sufficient money with him, at that time all those friends who called himself as the friend of poet, they started to leave the poet, and from that particular situation poet come to know these are not true friends, all these are false friends in his life. But still, though poet had very limited money with him, but he had two true friends with him. Though those true friends are very fewer friends, very few friends are with the poet. Now, friends, here in this particular poem, money. Now, it is universal truth. Without money, we can't lead happy life. But here, poet through the poem money has given us message that money is not important in our life. Money can't give you eternal happiness. Money can't give you real happiness. But true friends gives real happiness in our life. And so here in this particular poem, the poet has given importance of money, but friends are more important than money. This is about summary of this particular poem. Here poet has used as various figures of speech like alliteration, apostrophe, antithesis, or other such figures of speech are used. In the next video we learn how these figures of speech are used by the poet in this particular poem.